updated on how the gym is going. I started the gym here in Moscow. It's just out of my building. It's not in the building like in Dubai, which I love. You just go down to the second floor and you exercise and you come back. Here you have to get ready, go out, and because the weather is changing, you have to change at the gym and then shower. I hate that. Too long process. Takes too much time. But I went about 4 days. I'll probably go today. I couldn't. I was supposed to go after yesterday, but because I had to run out, I couldn't go. You need to drive a bit there, right? And that's the thing I love about Dubai. The gym is in the building. Just make your life much easier. Okay, we'll be live in a few seconds. Good morning, traders. Welcome to our trading room. We are going live on YouTube today. As promised, we will be live today and tomorrow. First, let me apologize for not being here yesterday in the New York session and FOMC. My traders who with me in my group would know that I'm in a very, very tight spot since I came back here to Moscow with running around, getting everything, set up and all of that. Hopefully I'll be here today for the New York session. And tomorrow we have 2 more sessions free for you. A lot of you guys have sent me messages asking to join the group. I've sent you back the very short version of, what to do and how to make payments. Don't rush with your payments. And I've been keeping some of you back for more than a month from not paying as yet, because let's finish this week and then you would send your payments in. If you want to join full time, you will get access to the London and the New York session if you pay an installment program. That is a very small sum of money every month until you reach the full sum, right? Once you reach the full sum, you can pay it in any amount of installment you can. If you make more money that month, you pay more depending on what you want to do, right? And once you reach the full sum, it's a one-time payment for life. Right? I few traders keep asking me what that means. That means that you, for the rest of your life, you have access to this group. And it doesn't mean you have to be here your whole life, right? We have traders who have completed, they're very successful, they left, they're gone to do what they've done. We've had traders who leave for different reasons, got divorced, came back, start trading again. All kinds of stuff, right? Life happens. You may travel, you may get a work at a different, I know one guy went work somewhere, he was a contractor, worked for like a whole year and then came back right back into the group. You might give up trading for a period of time because it's not working for you. You're not seeing, and then you decide, let me go and try it again. You come back, you get the same lessons to learn. You follow what the guys are doing in the room. You would see that in that period that you were missing, some of these traders have become really good traders. And that's inspiring because you would get to see that in the group. We have had traders who have done that, who left and came back and like, wow, oh my God, these guys are really doing good. They're actually making money. Yeah, well, life happens. You can still do it now. It's never too late. Right? So why did we create that system where you have lifetime access and don't pay to stay here every month? Well, for 2 reasons. One, if you're struggling, you don't have money to pay every month, you'll eventually go away, right? Why take your money every month if you're a struggling trader? You pay once and you stay here until you learn to trade and you become successful. So if you're struggling, then we shouldn't be charging you, right? And if you're successful and we ask you to pay, you will leave. So we want you to be successful and stay. And if you're struggling, we want you to learn to trade. And those are the 2 main reasons why we said you shouldn't be paying on a monthly basis. You pay one single fee for the training course, and once you completed that payment, for the rest of your life, you get access to this group. Now, not everything in the group is free. I have to pay for a lot of stuff in this group, right? I have to pay for access to all the things we're using, but that's okay. As long as you become successful, I'm happy. I wouldn't be charging you every month. That said, let's move on. If you're asking me what we do in the trading room, everything that has to do with trading, everything, any question you has to do about trading, bring it on. We will discuss. It's a trading group. There is no limit to what you discuss about trading, not anything else, but about trading. Of course, every now and then we discuss all kinds of stupid things because we have time to cut, the waste. But that said, the choice is yours. You can make that decision. I am in no rush to force anybody to come here. I'm not running any ad anywhere. I'm not telling you you're going to have this discount, and I'm not, I'm not chasing you. I'm not sending you a lot of emails telling you, hey, this is your last chance and all of that nonsense. So if you get any email soliciting you to join this group, ignore it. It's not for me. If you get any WhatsApp message, anything you get, asking you to come join my group, it's not from me. I have never sent a message to anyone asking them to join this group. Never. It has never happened and it will never happen. You make the decision. If you want to join, you send me a Skype message and then I will reply to you on Skype. Anyone who is in the group would know that's how it works. Right? I might send you a message saying, hey, there's a free webinar. If you'd like to join, great, join us. But that's it. I would never send you a message and say, well, hey, you have a limited time. You have 3 hours for this discount. Join now. There's no point in that. You have a lot of time. Make your decision. Take your own time. As a matter of fact, a lot of you might send me a message, here, I'd like to join your group. And I'm like, okay, wait a month more. That happened while I was on vacation. The guy said, well, I want to pay now. And I'm like, why don't you wait until I do the 1 week free and then you're going to pay? And he was like, I'll pay now and wait. I'm like, no, you just wait. You'll pay later. And you don't find that anywhere in any other group. That's where you see authentication. Whether authenticity was the exact word, I'm not sure, right? That's where you're authentic about what you're doing. When you're chasing people to join, because if they don't join today, they might change their minds tomorrow. I want you to stay longer and decide if you want to change your mind. You don't want to join us? Okay, you're not forced to do that. Your choice, right? And that is because I'm getting a lot of questions about the group. So I'm explaining to you why and how I do this. I'm pretty happy with the group I have right now. Really, really happy. I'm really proud about it. I've seen the success that these traders made. And like I said, if I've changed the life of one single trader being a coach in this, I've succeeded. I'm pretty sure I changed the life of a lot of traders already. Not only one. So my job as a coach, already successful. That's it. I don't have to prove anything to anyone anymore. I've already proven that what I'm doing is working. Your choice, right? So let's go. Let's start. Yesterday, I think this came down as expected, but this was in the morning. And if you remember in the morning when we were here, I said, this is going to go back up when it finished this. It's going to go back up because this is a flat forming here, but we're not buying it. Go back and watch that webinar. I said we're not buying it because it might just break this top and come right back down. Now, if you were in the trading room and you were selling, you would have to move this entry order to here. That is the 60-minute sell, which is the aggressive one, which is the conservative one. The aggressive sell would be selling it somewhere here. There is a small 5-minute flag there. You'll sell it there to come down. If that happened during the news, I think my traders know how to trade it. You could have gotten this trade, and I think we would have got some profit out of it because I can see that this stop was here. Let me go to the 1 minute and see what it looks like, just to be on the safe side. I don't think this thing dropped during the news. It looked like it went on its own, right? I don't see that this is it, right? I don't see any one fast move there. The only fast move is this little piece. So I don't think that's a news-driven thing. So it probably just went on its own, and that's even better for you. Now we have the opposite. We dropped, we made a flat. I'm going to pull this here now. You have a flat. And this is where you look at this way now. So if this is a flat and we're going up with a correction here, then the likelihood is you're going up. You can buy this. That's a buy setup. See, we just made a flag here when we drop. Some of my traders might have traded that flag down. If you want, you got another flag here, you drop. We're looking for this to go up now. Here's the thing. I think this is going to go out because this is a complete flat. So there's no reason for this not to go make an impulse. Of course, it can make a more complex correction, which means by a complex correction, it could probably just go back to the top here and come back here for a 1, 2, 3, something like this. So this is 1, 2, 3, this is 1, 2, 3, this is 1, 2, 3, and then you have a bigger flat. That means upside, right? That would still mean upside. So take the buy. I think we'll put this as an active buy. And you see how you trade now. You can't be bullish. If you're a day trader like we do and you're a short-term trader, there's nothing like I'm bullish or I'm bearish in the silver. People keep asking me that, you're bullish or bearish. I said, well, I don't do that stuff. I trade what I see today. Yesterday was a sell, today is a buy. Now, is the trend going up? Yeah, if you're an investor, then you can be bullish and bearish. Then you can decide, you know what? I'm long-term bullish in this, which means eventually it's going to come up and break the top. Yeah, I can see that. We can all see that eventually it's coming here and maybe it's going to break out. But I'm not a long-term trader. We're short-term traders here. We want to make some money today, right? Not next year, not 5 years from now. So come back here and we've got a buy setup. We'll see how that goes. Again, remember, disclaimer, I'm not making any trade calls. All I am doing is I'm showing you the way we trade. And what I want you to do is to look at the way we trade and see whether this method works for you. My traders in the group are already will know what to do. They can manage their own trades by themselves. So for the general public, this is for you to decide whether this is a method that is interesting to you, whether it works or whether you can see what's happening, right? Whether you think we can guess it's going to go down and then we can guess it's going to go up, and great if you think it's a good guess, right? Or wave analysis actually works. That's what you're looking for. That is to show you that it actually works. I'm already convinced. So what we're going to look for now, again, it's not a fact that it's going to break out, but very likely that it's going to break out. So this is a good trade. We will go with a buy setup here. It's an active buy, by the way. An active buy means I have to change the color to this one. You can see by the colors what they mean. If you don't know, watch the very first webinar we put out on Monday morning, London session, and you'll see. I'm going to go through there's no point me going through this because I wasn't there for yesterday afternoon and I wasn't for the FOMC. So all of this, let's just take them out and I'll do everything back from the start. Because I would have changed those before FOMC. Before FOMC, we would have closed all the trades. As a rule, before a big news event, we will close all our trades because we're very short-term traders, right? You don't want to be taken out by one little spike or one little drop, and then eventually it will go your direction. So we wouldn't be in any trade. So silver is a buy. Let's go through everything. We're going to go with dollar index. Dollar index kind of dropped. Nothing new here. Actually, the only thing new is that this upside happened. After this drop, it came here and then went up. That just makes a bigger flat. That just makes 1, 2, 3, and now it's dropping. I think this is more of a reversal. And this is interesting, right? Remember, I just showed you silver is a buy. Dollar index has a buy set up on it on the 15th. So if you go into 1 hour, this is what you're looking at. It's coming down, and I think it's going to go down. We can take this now as a contracting flat, confirm the contracting flat. Because it's gone very far. It's not going to make a running flat now. And we're coming to this low. Do we need to break that low? One of the questions I think somebody asked me not too long ago, how would you decide whether it's an impulse going down or it's just making a flat? So take this, for example. We have got one. This is the move going into it. So you've got 1, 2, 3. You're still in that move when we're here. Should this break the low? Should it come here and break the low? It will still go back up. And then we will decide. This thing is going to take a very long time. This is a weekly pattern forming here, actually. If you put it in the week, you'll see that. That's a weekly pattern forming. See that? We're in a weekly pattern. We're in this structure. If you've never seen this before, take a good look because you're going to learn something, right? So you've got to move up. You've got a correction. You've got to move up. This is it with smaller corrections inside. You've got a big correction. By the way, this is one of the patterns we forecast years before it happens. So you should go take a look at that. And we're doing the same thing here. This, you see the difference between this is that it came back to the top. So that's a flat for upside. Now this is the impulse in there. This one is here. If this stays here, if it doesn't go back to the top here, we're actually going to break through the structure and we might retest this low, which means dollar could get beyond that point. That is not today or tomorrow, right? Don't go jump and tell everybody this guy said dollar is going to drop, right? Because we're going to stay here for years. We're going to be in that maybe for the next couple of years before it drops. Right? But it's going to drop eventually. So now the only thing I would look at and say, well, okay, it's not going to drop is depending on this consolidation. Does this thing go back to the top here? Because if it gets back to the top here, we will come back here and we'll repeat this flat and then we'll continue to go up. Right? Now that is very long process, but that is showing you that the patterns repeat themselves on any given time frame. So we're in this consolidation. That's where we're trading. You notice I have 2 lines there showing you the range. There are a lot of lines. Those are showing you ranges. The range you're trading in, the monthly range, the weekly range, the daily range, the 4-hour range, and the range you'll be trading in today. Right? That is what those lines are showing you, that we're still stuck in those range. This is the first one. We're stuck in this one. This is an impulse. We're correcting in that. This is the second impulse. I should actually take this and put the third impulse here, but we're still in that one. So all of these were setups, trade setups. The rest of them are just trade setups. This was the next range we were trading, right? This range here. When it go up there and drop. This is a sell setup. You probably had a sell setup there and we can get another. So the only question you have, is it going to break here or is it going to go back to the top? It could break and then go back, or it could go back from here. It doesn't make a difference. Now, if we get buy setups, we will absolutely take them because we understand that the possibility of an upside is really strong. Silver upside might be short-lived, but this is consolidating right now for upside. So it's a buy setup. See, this is a consolidation for upside. Right now, it's coming downwards. I don't know how deep it's going to come. It could work its way down for the rest of the week to the bottom here, maybe all today and then go back up there. And in that case, we will sell it. But should it stay here, that's a buy setup you don't want to miss. I'm not trying to sell this coming down. There's no point selling the consolidation. You're only going to get yourself confused and, stuck in a long-term trade that is not going anywhere much, right? So I'm looking at this as a buy setup. You can put it as an active buy. You put an entry order above here and see if it takes off. It's coming down and it probably could even get to the bottom here, but you would have to sell it in a 5-minute or a 3-minute, and I don't trade those lower time frames. So put an entry order here for a buy. I mean, you can see the smaller flags, right? But I don't trade those smaller flags. If this make another flag here, you can consider if you want to trade that down, right? That's the only thing you can do. Right now, you don't have a trade. If should it come to the bottom here, we'll be expecting it to go back up and then look for the sell. So this is an active buy right now. Silver is an active buy, but it's short term. Silver is coming down. I don't care how low silver go. If it comes back all the way to the bottom here, then we'll expect it to go there and drop. In that case, we can trade, but very likely silver is going to come here. It needs to break this top. And then it can either come back here or it can take off. Now, you may say, well, can dollar index go up and silver go up? Well, not necessarily exactly the same time, but yes, that could happen. But you can find that the dollar index might just go sideways here all the time, right? See, there's a drop there and go back up. It could stay here for a long time and then go. But it's a buy setup. This is okay. That single drop doesn't mean anything. I don't know why it dropped there, but that doesn't mean anything much. I think there's Euro news. That could be a reaction from the Euro. There's Euro news somewhere going on. So wait for this buy now, and if should it go, we'll take the buy. Gold. Actually, this came down much more. So we'll take this out and we will change this running flat because these are going to be two separate flats. This one is going to be its own flat here. Now a smaller version, the bigger version is here. Take off this. It didn't really go anywhere much. The sell here, if you were trying to take this, you would close it here if you didn't. But again, you might have wanted to sell this one if you wanted to sell that. That would be a good sell. Right now, we're stuck in this. We kind of make a flat here. There is a flat here. There's a flat here, but it's not going up. You can see that, right? So I'll take this out. It's not going up as yet. We're going sideways here. And that is interesting because if you go sideways there, you're either making a bigger correction, right? If we go sideways, this is making some bigger correction by coming back here, doing something like this, and then go. Or it stays at the bottom here, make a consolidation here, and then drop. Right now, we don't know which of those two because it's not enough information to decide that. You had 1, 2, 3 here. We can put this as a 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. You have 1, you're getting a 2. This looks like it's going to consolidate more. It might stay in this range for a while, and then we look for a sell. So right now, this piece is not giving us any clue whether it's upside or downside. We just have to wait. I would not be putting a buy or a sell in it as yet. Let's see what patterns it form, which pattern you can get, and then you take the trade. If you can't get any pattern that you know, then don't take it. Euro USD. Okay, I think that was the Euro thing just now that went up a little. It's a sell setup, but I'll be very, very cautious with this. Right, we broke this top. What is it in the bigger time frame? Okay, we broke that top, so there's a very, very good chance this is going to come back here. Right, if you look at this as a 1, 2, 3. If it's becoming more complex, let's say it's a much more complex pattern, then it might just come back here and go back up one more, making this a flat. That possibility exists, but it's still coming down. So once you break the top, you start looking for sell setups. So we go back to the 15, and there is a sell setup, but there's a little problem with this sell setup in that it pulled back pretty deep. And when it pulled back deep, you have to be on the side of caution, right? So we can take it, but take it under the low might be a little dangerous. We need to get it inside here. If it's going to drop really fast, let me take out this. That is us breaking the top. You can take this here, but you have to use a stop that is a little above here. Not above the top, not exactly above the top. Use it a little above it, simply because should it drop here, depending on how it drops, right? If it drops really fast, good for you. If it drops slow and start to pull back, you want to make sure you get out before it breaks out of this, right? But you don't want it, should it go there and then come back here and then go, making a big flat. You don't want to be taken out and then go. I think it can drop. The deep pullback, since it's so high, the deep pullback is not a big deal. So we'll put this as a sell setup with some caution. The stop has to be a little above this. I don't know, 15, 20 pips above that. We will not let it go back to the top with keeping the trade. We'll try to get out of the trade. Try to get out of the trade in 15 minutes, much earlier if it doesn't go. But there's a very good chance if it starts pulling back like this, it could go because we broke the top already on the 4 hours. So it's a sell setup. If it becomes a bigger correction, you will still have time to get out because there's no serious correction in here, right? If it's a bigger correction, it'll probably, spend some more time like this, spend some more time here, and that will give you a chance to get out before you get the buy. So if it's not dropping really fast, get out of it. Wait for another flag. If it starts to consolidate here, well, you can use that flag to go. So should it stop here and make a consolidation like this? Right, if it makes a consolidation like that, you can use this consolidation, then you can use this stop, and you can wait for it to come here, get it to break even, and see whether it drops. If it stays here, well, you know what to do. You guys know the rules of management, right? Pung. Okay, Pung actually went up. It did break the low first. So we were expecting to come here, go down back. It did came pretty high, so I would expect it to go down back and then get the buy, but it turns out this was all you had. So even if you didn't get the buy here, no problem, although we were expecting it to go break the top, you have a sell set up. We'll go with this sell. Right, it's an expanding flat. I'll put it as an expanding flat, and I'll go with the sell. So we'll put an entry order here for the sell. If it becomes a flat, you'll try to get out of it. This wasn't the one. We didn't put the sell and we didn't put the buy in, right? Putting the sell in this because to me that looks like a very good possibility. Even if it's making a flat or one more up, they'll probably come here and then start to go back up. Do we need to break that top? Let me see the 4 hours. No, we don't need to break any top. We broke the tops already. Right? We already broke the top. We don't need to break it, and the daily structure is just, see that? We don't need to break that up. We could come down from here and retest this low. Right? There's no point in going and break. You can break the top for a running flat. It could break the top and make a running flat, but there's no specific reason to do that. So the sell here is a good idea. Right? Let's see if we can take that trade, put it back in the 15. You just have to manage the trade with caution. I think it's a good trade. There's a disadvantage that it came back so high, but because we're at the very top of the structure, it's worth taking. If you get a flag in here, you don't want the flag in there now because then you're slowing down the momentum. You want the momentum for the sell to be strong, which means it shouldn't make any correction. Let it just go. The faster it moves, the more there is sell orders coming in volume. And that is good, right? Because it could break the low, then starts to consolidate. If it breaks the low, then start to consolidate, you will close it and you will re-enter. You know the rules on doing that, right? So keep it in the 15. Should it stay here sideways, take it off. Right? Should it stay here a long time sideways, take it off because it's going to do this and we will eventually make one more up. Right? We'll eventually make one up. You don't want this to happen. You want it to go. So let's see if we get it. If it's going up, there's no good buy here. And especially at the top here, there's no point trying to buy there. You get one trade that is high risk. So you can ignore that. We'll go with the sell. Aussie. If we get a buy set up in the Aussie, we can take it. I'll take this trade out. I wouldn't call that trade. It should have been from here, but I would not take it because I wasn't there and I don't know how you guys traded, whether it's in news or not. So it went the way we wanted. It went up. Whether you took it or not, you got out. Worst case is you got break even. And now we are actually still consolidating here, right? It kind of make a 1, 2, 3. This should probably go down some more. I think this is more of a consolidation. I would look at this mostly as a consolidation. We do have a point from here where it should pull back. Let's see. Yeah, that's just a pullback like this. It's not a big move. So I wouldn't be surprised if this consolidation work its way down like this and then go back up because this needs to go up and break this top, right? So there is a spike to do. If everything is consolidating downwards, you will still get positive on the euro and the pound because it's the downwards consolidation. We're not going to sell the Aussie because we don't have any sell setup. There is no sell setup here, right? This is a more like a 1, 2, 3 that come here. And this is going back up. We also wouldn't buy it here because this is just one sharp move. I don't think we're going to put it with any one that we have in the past. We need a deep one like this before. Should it come deep like that, then we would look for the buy setup. So right now, we'll just leave Aussie alone. Let's see what we have in New Zealand. You can buy it in New Zealand. You sold it yesterday. If you sold it, you closed it, right? By rule, if you sell that, you close it. It stayed forever there. Your trade should be under here, right? If you are still selling, but when it come here and it starts to go back up, you will take it off, right? Because it came back to this stop, which means you take that off. Turns out there was a contracting flat, more like a small contracting flat there you'll go with. And it's making another one here. You could probably even look at it as a possible running flat in the future, right? The running flat. If we treat it like a running flat, put an entry above the top. And if it is a running flat, it will break the top. right? There is some consolidation in it. So if it doesn't break the top, it has to consolidate here. Then we'll consider. We need to break this one, I think. We're trying to break that. Let me see. Yeah, we're trying to go and break that top before it turns because we're looking at this as a 1, 2, 3. But you notice both of them have very sharp running flats in it. This running flat here was pretty huge. This running flat here was pretty huge. And it has the same kind of a, thing. So let's say we've got this and this is the first one of a running flat. You wanted to go break that up and pull back really strong. This is very strong, so I don't think it will put it as a running flat, but if we do get it, we'll repeat it as a running flat. And let's see if this actually goes and break the top. You want it to go there, and then we'll be looking for the sell setup. Now, can everything come down and New Zealand go up on a single one? Yeah, why not? We've seen that happen. It's not a big move remaining to cover the top. I think that should be about 60 pips. Let me see. 40-something pips to break the top. You only need one spike. And that's enough for spike and reverse. Let's see if we get the spike. Right? Should it make one? Do we have any New Zealand news today? We have newer news. We have pound news at 11:30. We have US news this afternoon. Maybe that will finish the move. Right? So we'll see how they're all structured by this afternoon to see if we're going to get the spike. I'm hoping it breaks the top because we don't want another contracting flat here. So let's see if it goes break the top first. CAD, you're selling. You do anything, you just sell. You're just looking for any reason to sell the CAD. There's a lot of reason to sell it, especially after that pullback. I'll probably put a running flat. You could put it with this one if you want. Right, there's a pullback here. Look for sell setups. Any flag, wait for a flag, sell it. Right, CAD is going down. It's actually following the arrow, which is amazing, right? The arrow, it kind of missed the arrow in this piece. Right, we put that arrow there a long time ago, but it seems like you're following the arrow down. So good for you. Just trade it, right? It's not following the arrow. Don't put the arrow there. Wait for it to make a flat and then or a flag and sell. So look for sell setups here. It doesn't matter what. We have CAD news today. We have USD news. So by this afternoon, if we get a nice flat here, if it comes back and make a flat, should it pull back here and make this a flat, we're gonna sell it. So it's selling the CAD anywhere. Swiss. Yeah, that was a sell. We got the pullback. You sell it. Actually, it spent a long time here before it went. It kind of went a little higher. I think this sell could have been on this one. This sell, we were trying to sell this here. You should have sold that, but it came back here. Maybe you would have pulled the trade. I think that's a possibility. You could have pulled it because it went high, so I'll take that out. It dropped here. It actually had this could be a news. This could be a news event. It went up. It came down. It went up back. So if you're trading the news, you would still be on the sell side, not the buy side. That's a deep pullback. Can we put this all as a bigger flat? I think we can do that. We can put this as one bigger flat. More like this. Right, there's a good chance we could do that. We could make that a bigger flat here. Because there's a pullback here and then there's a move back to the top. So you could put that as one bigger flat. You've got a kind of a consolidation here. This looks upside. I let it go up first and then go with that and then look for the sell. So don't try to sell. This is going down too slow. Let it go back up, test the top, and then we can look at this as it could even come here, come back here, and then go make a bigger correction. It's not a buy because you're back at the bottom here, right? You're not looking to buy it to go back up, but let it go back up and then we look for the sell. So wait for a bigger consolidation here. Should it go all the way to the top here? Can we look at this as a bigger running flat if it does that? Right, if it goes back, there's a consolidation in here. So if this goes back, no, this one has too much consolidation. I wouldn't put it in. It's not an impulsive move. This is a flat of its own. So you let this go back up here and then look for a sell setup. If it just drop back to the bottom here and then go back up, it will still be a sell. So look for a sell setup when it gets to the top. So I'll put it, look for a sell setup, but I'll put an arrow showing it's going up. Now, if you're very aggressive, how much pip is that? Let me see. It's just 13 pips. I don't know how aggressive you'd want to be to trade it. It's not worth it. Because you would have to have a stop that is about 20 pips. Yen. Yen is a sell. It could break the top, but if in case it doesn't break the top, go for the sell here. Go for the sell here. The ranges here are big. So even if it's coming here for a flat, it's going to come here and then go back up as a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. if we're making a bigger flat, right? If not, this could just drop because you do have a 1, 2, 3 there. So yen was a sell yesterday, but that was way before the news happened. In the news I think went up first, start to come down. If you were on the 1 minute, you probably would have got a sell somewhere here, right? If we were there and we saw that in the 1 minute, we'll do one of the two things. We will, once that pull back so much, we'll go and put it under the last impulse, right? We know the rule, right? We'll go back to the 15 minutes or 5 minutes and put it under the last impulse for the sell. So the same thing, we're selling this and let's see how far that takes us. So this is an active sell. You can put this as an active sell. Euros. Okay, we're coming down. There was a small flag there. You'll have to do it more like this, and there's a small flag there to sell. A very small one. Let's see in the 1 hour how much hours that is. That's a nice reversal because you're actually reversing this one, right? And it's already falling. Wait for a flag now. Now that it's dropped already, wait for the flag. It's already dropped. You should be in the euro trade. I think you should be tagged in the euro sell. Wait for a flag now. I was going to put it here, but it's gone. So there's no point in that. That's why I put this on the last impulse. So here's where we're going to do. We're going to put this too. And you can put it here, but that's a far away. So you don't want to do that. Wait for a 5 minutes, 50 minutes flag sell. So wait for a flag. You will have an advantage of where you put this stop if you wait for a flag. Right? Wait for a flag in here. And then you'll have the advantage of how to put the stop above here to go. That's a sell setup. You're in New Zealand. Let's see what we have here. Sell setup. You can actually put this. You want to be careful with this sell. Actually, oh, this line is already here. Let me take this out. You want to be careful with this sell because it only needs to break the low, right? We only need to break this low and come back. So you can put an entry order here. Put an entry order here, but you just want it to break the low. Put it to positive. We don't know how low it's going to go. Because once you break that low, it's either going to drop a lot or it could turn and go back up. Right? So keep the entry order there. Keep the stop above the top. Put the entry there. Keep a stop here. It's rarely going to tag you and spike it back. It might start making a flag or something. And then we go because this will be the last move up. This piece here is the last move up. So this is an active sell. That's mostly because euro is dropping. Right? You should be in the euro trade going right now. Like I said, you want this to go really fast. You don't want that to go slow. Right? You want that to move really fast. So that means there's strong momentum to the downside. And remember, we're the huge top on the 4 hours. So that's a good trade. Right? Let's go. EuroCAD. Okay, all the euro trades are moving. So you can do this. And we were expecting one more down. That is this one. That is this one here. Yeah, we were expecting this. That could still be a running flat. Not a good idea to sell this. You're not going to have an advantage. You're going to have a disadvantage in it. Now, you can make an argument that this already happened here. We can make an argument for this, that it happened there already. In that case, I want it to be confirmed with a flag. Right? If I'm going for this one, if we're going for this one, right? And let's say we assume that this is a running flat. Let me put it like this. Let's say you think that was the running flat. Right? If you put this as the running flat, and it could be, right? We don't know whether that's a running. If that's a running flat, then this one needs to come here and make a flag and then sell it. So wait for a flag to sell. A flag to sell. That would confirm the sell for us. Because if that is the case, and then in that case, we'll be going for this one. So you will get a good trade if it's going for that. If not, it will just come here. It will probably just come here and go right back up. And you don't have an advantage in where you put the risk to reward. It goes back up here, and then we take this sell to the bottom. So we don't know because it's not an ideal pattern. Right? So wait for a flag here. If you're in already, I don't know if there's any flag anywhere. There was a flag. So if you were there earlier and you put your entry order here, that's excellent. If any one of you are paying attention and you did that, that's excellent. It's pretty much like what the euro did, except this one is even not at the top. So this here would be a perfect entry. But we didn't trade the news, right? If you were trading news, we probably would have done that. Euro Swiss is going down too. And well, this would have been a good trade if you wanted to. You wouldn't put it here. You probably put it under this one. But that is gone. So wait for another flag. We'll take this out because that turns out to be just a deep pullback. And that means we're going to go much lower. Right? It's not a flat. It's not going up one more. It means we're coming back to retest this low. It's interesting. The Swiss pairs are not going up as yet, which means we could get one more drop lower. This is the lowest point, right? If it comes make a new low again, we start back the process of buying. We're selling right now, short-term sells. Wait for a flag sell. Right? Wait for a flag sell. So if you want to sell it, wait for a flag. If it turns to the upside, don't miss the buy. Remember, we already broke the low, the all-time low. So if this turn to go up, don't miss any buy setup you get. But if you want to sell it and it makes a flag, sell it because it can retest the low again. Europang? Okay, I don't think we would sell this because it's kind of in this consolidation here, and we're not really leaving that. We're not breaking out of it as yet. Selling this would only be to come to the bottom. That was a buy to go there. It didn't go far. See, this was a buy here. You'd buy this to go back to the top only. And that's what it did. And they're dropping. There's a flag here. There was a flag. It's probably going to do. So I wanted to break through the structure and make a consolidation outside. Don't sell this because it could stop here and go back up. So if it's going to continue to drop, you want it to break through this and then go. Euro is going very good. Let's see. It should. Yep. I think this will go to the pound might follow too. So the pound might also follow. Keep an eye on it. Let's see if it goes. That's a euro news dropping. We have pound news a little later. We have pound news at 11:30. That is in an hour. So yeah, we'll go trade the pound as well. If we don't trade it here, we'll trade it in the trading room. Okay, so let's go through all the euro pairs. We did the euro Swiss, we did euro pound, euro yen. Euro yen, if you get a sell setup, take it. Yep, you do have a sell setup here. It's a huge one. Let me go into 15. This is a sell you don't want to miss. I don't care if it's a euro or a yen, sell it. So put an entry here. Come on, put an entry. It's okay. It's there exactly where you would have sell it. So don't put it just under the low. Right? It pull back. If it's going to pull back and go up, it wouldn't tag you. If it's drop lower, this could be close here. This one will close here. The next one opening is going to drop. I like the sell. I actually like the sell in this one. Even if you're doing this, take out this one. Even if we're doing this, right, then we're coming to break this low, which means that it's going to come somewhere. Let me just pull a line, and I just want an arrow here. Even if we're doing something like this, then the chances are it's going to come down to about here, right? It's going to break this low, and you can get it to break even. I don't see a problem. It could go much lower, right? Because if you look at this as a 1, 2, 3 contracting flat, then this one could drop. We could even retest this low if they're going to go back up. So this is a good sell. You will have to keep a bigger stop on it. That's the only disadvantage. You'll have to keep a bigger stop. And let's see what he's doing. Punkat. Okay, Punkat is kind of coming down, but you notice this was kind of coming down too. So don't sell it unless you get a flat. Right? I think the Punkat has upside much more. There's a lot more upside in the Punkat. Let's see in the bigger picture. There's a good chance it will come and break this top before it go down. Because you can either look at this as a 1, 2, 3. If it's coming here, it's going to make a flat and then go back up, right? Come to retest the low. So let's see if you're going to sell it for retesting the low, you want to make sure that pattern is solid. So first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that this is not looking like a correction right now, like this here, right? This would have been a buy setup yesterday. If it comes back here, this could be a buy setup again. See that, right? So if I'm going to sell it, what I want to do is I want to see it actually breaks through this here and consolidate here. So I want this before I start selling it because I want this here before I start selling because I'll be selling it to retest this low. So the sell side would be a big one, right? The upside on this is more, if you're going to buy it, let it come down some more and then you can get one more. If it's going to do one more of that, you'll get the trade. So let's see how deep it come, and then we can go for the buy. This was a buy. I think this was a buy. This could become a buy still. You're probably seeing divergence already, which means that the momentum is dying out as you get to the top. But then you'll watch it from there, right? So for those of you who are asking, we did the pound, we did the CAD, we did the pound CAD. US 30 will come to the US 30 just now. All right, so we'll come to that. Let's go. I don't think we need to do all the pound trades. Right, there's no point doing all the pound one. You guys will tell me which one of the pound trades to do because we'll have pound news coming up soon, and that might change a lot of things. So we're going to skip the pound. We're going to skip these. We're going to come down to the bottom here. tell me if you want any one of these, you will tell me which one. We'll come to them. Let's look at these. Natural gas. Okay, we're not going anywhere. We're kind of like stuck sideways here if you look at it. So I'll take this out and put it like this because I want to see what it's doing in this piece. Seems like we're making some kind of a correction here. And that means that since this is sharp and this is sharp and this is making all the corrections, this one is probably going to go back to the top here, maybe come back here and then go. So I'm looking at this as a possible flat forming here. There is a buy setup, but it could be short term. You had a very nice flat here, which if you probably sell it, you'll only sell it to come and retest this low. And that could be a break-even trade. Let it make a flat here. It's making a flat and then go for this one. So assume you're going to do this 1, 2, 3. So let it confirm a flat pattern, something you can actually trade for the upside. And then when it comes here, there's a chance it's going to come back here, complete that flat and then go. So there is a buy setup, but you don't have a flat as yet. There is nothing, just one pullback. So give it some time and then look for a buy setup. I'll say wait for a buy setup. US oil. Okay, there was another sell setup here. Right, this one came back to the top there, like this one here. That was a sell, this was a sell, same thing, and you're getting another sell setup here. You want this to go back up, just a small pullback like that. You just want this one to come a little more here and then go back up there, and then you're selling. You can actually put this sell entry here. You can put this sell, but you have to use a stop here, right? Because it could become a running flat, but this is the B part, right? This is the B part. So this is probably going to come down here and then go back up there, give you that flat. If you wait for the flat, you get a better, a safer trade, put it that way. The same thing here, like if you waited for this flat, we didn't sell that. We let it wait until it go back up and then you sell. So the same thing here, it's a sell setup. Where is it going? The question is, where is it going if we're getting all those sells? Well, we broke the low already, so we're just going lower, that's all. We're just going lower, one more drop, take profit. At some point, it might pull back. I'm not sure which point. We might eventually look at this as a running flat. And that means that this could go somewhere. At some point, you might even make a bigger correction and then drop again. So take it one trade at a time. Take your profit off. Don't keep it. It's not a long-term trade. So this is an active sell or a sell setup, whichever you want to choose. We can put this in active sell. But I'll prefer if you wait for the sell setup. So since we're on YouTube, wait for the sell setup because you wouldn't be able to manage it that easy. US 30. Let's see what US 30 is doing. We've got a correction. It's going up, but not as aggressive as I would like. So stay away from it. Right? If this was the flat, and that is what I would think, I'll have an entry here. But since this is consolidating, I'll just wait. Wait for this to come back down. Let it kind of come back down here and then use this one. This would be a standalone, or we'll put it with this one here. So wait for this to come back here and then look for a buy setup. We're looking for a buy setup, but you want it to pull back first. Consolidate. So you wait for the buy setup. S&P 500. The same thing. You had a flat. It didn't go very far. So you had 1, 2, 3. It's a running flat. This is an up move, but you need it to come back here. You need this to come back here, complete this as a flat, and then look for the buy setup. Because I think this here was a nice running flat. Right, there's no question in that. This went up, let it make a flat here, and then it's going to go one more up. So you can look for a buy setup. It will be the same here. I think the same thing. This one actually went higher. First, we were expecting 1, 2, 3, and then go up. Instead of that, it did it like this, right? It did 1, 2, 3. So you can put that as a flat here now. That's what we got. You could even put this entire thing here as a flat. So you got 1, 2, 3, and you're getting an up move. This is coming down right now. This is very short-term trading. Come back to this point, and then you'll get this one here for upside. It could go up and come down one more. It might even be more complex than that, because if this drop, it might go back up like this, come back here, give you this flat. That'll be a complete flat, and that buy would be okay. So keep an eye on it there. It's just going sideways. Look for buy setups. Yep, that sell yesterday was amazing. And you close it, it's giving you another sell like that. So we're going to go back with the next sell. Here's the thing. This one came right up to the top. So there is an issue there. I might be tempted to put this here as a flat. Right? This is a flat. This is a small flat. This is 1, 2, 3. So this could be, instead of this dropping like this, there's a chance it might just come here and then go back up to break this top, right? So let me put this, I'll take that, let me take this off. We don't need this. So if you put this here, and if we make the assumption that this here is the flat, because we have two sharp moves here already, that is this one. That's your running flat. This could be upside. So buy here was not a bad idea, actually, if you're looking at the patterns, because this was a flat of its own. You can see that, this here. So whatever this is doing might be more of a flag rather than a downside, right? This is coming down, but this might be mostly, unlike this one, this might just come here and go back up, making this a flat. So if you're going to take that trade, you have to be really good at getting out of that trade really quick, right? Because you can see this didn't go as aggressive as we would like it to go as an impulsive move, but this whole thing moves like that, right? The whole thing is moving like that. See that? That's how it moves. It makes these flat and go. So I'll take this out. We're making correction for this, right? This is a big move down. I don't think it's a big running flat. Was the 4-hour structure? So the 4-hour structure, I would put this as a single move down, and we are kind of correcting it upwards. We'll probably get another drop, but not so soon, like this one here, right? You had a single move down, then you work your way up all the way to the top and then drop again. And you kind of make another one, then you work your way up. So this is more of the impulse, and this is a pullback. So if this works its way back, it's probably going to consolidate, go back to the top, drop again, then go make a flat. If it starts to drop from here, it could go deeper. Now, if you want to know if it's going to go deeper, you go one time frame higher. Yes, it could go deeper. There's no reason why we can't do this now, right? Why this can't stop here and do this and make that the flat and then go up. See? So there's a series of things happening here right now. Would this be another flat here? Right? See, they made a lot of flat here. You can decide. I would probably put all of this as one piece. So you get an up move, you get a flat, you get an up move, you get another flat here, you get another up move, and then you come back here. So I don't think this is dropping right now, because that pullback is pretty deep. If it was dropping, you would get something like this. You would get something like this, a very small consolidation right at the bottom of the impulse, right? Not a big one. See, the mere fact that it's pulling back all the way to the top, they're going to that top, it's making a flat. So you come back to the 4-hour, and you said, okay, great. What is it doing? Now, you see this one worked the way we expect it to do. So I'm going to take that out now. It's useless. We're expecting this to happen. I'm expecting this to happen. Come back to the top here. Go down back one more. Now, it can get much more complex than that. The arrow is just a sense of direction. It's not telling you what it's going to do. It's telling it's consolidating in this range. I don't know what that consolidation would look like. It's going to come back here and then make one more up and eventually drop. Now, can this start the drop to the downside? We'll go back on the 1 hour and see. Yeah, possible. We don't have a sell setup. This one is back at the top of this thing, right? So let it break the top first. I don't like selling it here to drop. It has to break this top. Let it go break that up, and then we look for the drop. So there might be a buy setup here. You just want this to come back here, and then you can look for this buy to make one more impulse, and then see if it starts to drop or how high it goes. There's a lot more to the upside it can go. There's a lot more to the downside. So I'm going to take this trade off. It's already, somebody in YouTube give us that trade, will ask me to look at it, which means that was a well-made trade. Good job. If you identify a trade and you want me to check it, we'll check it and see what. So that was a really nice one. Let's see if we get another one here today. So there's nothing right now. It will be a buy setup, but we'll wait. You're getting a sell setup here. There's an ideal sell setup. Take this out, put an entry here, go for it. If you can get a flag here, that would be better, but put an entry there, go for the sell. Where would this take us? Let's see. Not very far. It's not going to take you very far, because the move is going up right now. I doubt we're going to make one more low. We can make one more low, but I doubt that is a possibility, because you've got a really nice flat here for upside, right? It can make one more low. We'll see if it's making one more low. If for whatever reason this just works its way up to the top here, we'll let it pull back here, and then we'll buy it. We'll buy this. But as of now, if it drop, it could do this. It can make one more drop and then go back up. So you can still sell it. Try to get the sell from higher, which means if you're getting a sell setup, try to get it from somewhere here with a flag. So you want a small flag like this. You want it to come here and make a small flag here and take that one down. So by the time it make that move to go back up, you'll get a trade. But you can put an entry order there for the sell. Should it drop really sharp, take a trade. DAX, you got a nice flat in here. So you want this one. I think we don't have anything for that. So let's see if we can get this. Look for a sell setup. You need a small flag. I don't think we have anything for that, right? Put it back on the 1 hour. Yeah, it's going back up and we don't have anything for that. You got a 1, 2, 3. I think this is a good one. Right? This is a really deep pullback and we're going up. We're coming to break that top. That is a top. See all these buys here. So we're going to get a lot. There's a lot of buy in here too. Get a lot of buy in here. So look for a buy setup. You want it to pull back first. You want this to pull back. Let it pull back like this. Give us this flat. And then you go with that trade, right? So I'm going to go in the 4 hour. There's a similar one here. So let's go into 1 hour. Wait for this to pull back. You want to move down like this. We don't have anything for this. Come here and then look for the buy. So you're looking for a buy setup, but you want it to pull back first. This would be the same. You might be buying into this. It's going up really fast. This is not necessarily upside. Right? This one doesn't necessarily have to go up. Right? We kind of broke the top already. And this could go down more. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes more. It could come down a lot more and then go back up. Can it go back up from there? Yeah, it can go back up from there. That's a deep pullback. So go to the 4 hour and go to the 1 hour. We might have to put this as something else. It's not part of this one. It might have to go with this or even with this one here. There's one at the bottom. There's this one and then there's this one. You could go with any one of those. I'd have to put it with this one as a running flat. Okay, that's a flat of its own there. We need a flat here. We need this to pull back. If this pulls back, you get a buy setup. You need a pull back here to confirm some kind of a pattern, and then you get a buy setup. Or make a flag. If it's not pulling back, then let it go sideways, consolidate like this. And then you can buy. Nifty. Oh, Nifty didn't drop. That would have been a good sell, but it went up more. So if you get a sell anywhere here, take it. It's making a flat now. It's not dropping for this. You can take this off. It's making its own flat here. We will get a sell. We will get a move down, but it will be the equivalent of this once this is over. Right? You're going to get one more of that. That would be a flat and upside. So can we look for a sell setup from there? You don't have a sell setup now, but you can look for a sell setup. We had one. It didn't drop. We had a nice one here. That didn't drop. This is not a good one. This is upside. Right? So you can put this as a running flat here. We had this running flat. And it's going up back to the top. So we're in this range. I'll put this here. We're still in that range. So if you get a flag here, it's just one more impulse. But if you get a sell setup, expect it to drop a lot. Expect it to come back here, come back like this, and then go back up. So it might be worth looking for a sell setup because the buy here is going to be pretty big. Tesla. Okay, Tesla is going up because we're expecting it to come and break this top. I don't think it's going to retest the low. Right, this started to go really nice. We can end up with a flat like this. This could go here and make some kind of a flat here. And then go one more up because you had a 1, 2, 3 here. You had a 1, 2, 3 here. So we're expecting it to come break this top at least. And then we would decide if this is going to drop one more. Right, so right now Tesla is in that big sideways movement. You can see that. We're in this big move. This has a lot of consolidation in it, but we are in the B part of it. So you can expect this to eventually get to the top there, come back here, and then this might be after this long consolidation, and that's the simplest flat, which means it doesn't have to be a simple flat. It could stay in this range here for the next 5 years or the next 10 years, which means it's going to go up and down slowly, not any big move up, not any big move down. That is a weekly consolidation, right? So if you think of Tesla as going up all the time, this is the consolidation, right? It's going to go up and down here. Like it could stay like this and then drop here and then go back up. You could get something like that. Right? We don't know how long it's going to stay there, right? It all depends on how it's been traded and what people believe is going to happen to Tesla. But we are going to trade the shorter term one. The shorter term one, this looks like a sell setup. I don't like it. This was a good buy here. This is a short one. This you could have bought that one. This one here, you needed to go back up there and then pull back here, and then we'll get a buy setup. If we get that flat, we'll buy. The sell is not perfect, so leave it alone. HK50. Upside, you can buy if you get buy setup, but this is one pullback. Wait for a flat and buy like this flat. Wait for a flat like that, then buy. If you're in the buy already from here, that is good. Right? If you took the buy earlier. Remember, this could go back all the way to the top here. It could get all the way to this top and then go down. We're expecting it to go there very strong, but it's not going. So let's see. I think this could be a correction, and this might just work its way up to the top there. Let's see if we can get that. If it goes really like a mess, if it goes like 1, 2, 3 and start coming back here, then we'll come here, go there, and then drop. So it could end up being a much bigger consolidation. Let's see if we get the buy setup. We don't have anything right now. You can buy, just buy to the top there because it can pull back like this and then go for the buy. Okay, let's see. Some people want the best setup for today. I think we already had the best setup for today. There's no ideal thing like the best setup. You take the setups you get, and then we'll see where they go, right? So the idea, okay, keep that question for when I finish all the charts. I'll explain that in details. Bitcoin. Take this out. Okay, Bitcoin kind of come back to the top. See, when it go back to the top, that's a buy setup. Right, when it go back to the top there, you're thinking, especially with this pullback here now, you can make an argument for a running flat, and that should be a buy setup there. Now, it's going up really slow, right? You can put that as a buy setup. This could be all the consolidation you have, right? That. And this could be going up like really, really slow. I think that's a surprise because we wanted it to go really fast. But if it goes really slow, then what you would do is you'll watch it when it comes to this stop. We're still in this structure here, right? So if it's going to go as slow as it's doing like this, we'll watch it when it comes here, because when it comes here and it goes so slow, the chances are it's going to go back down. Right? If it goes that slow. If it takes off at any point, it's coming out of this structure. You actually want it to go out of that structure and break the top and then start looking for sells or exit your buys. Right? So right now it looks like a buy setup. It's going up back again. You can make an argument for this being a running flat. So the upside is okay. I like the upside as actually. If you make an argument for this as the running flat, I don't like that one, then this is still upside. So the buy is not a bad idea if you want to buy here. If you want to find a flag here and buy, that's a better deal. Let's see. Ethereum. Don't buy this as yet. This upside is limited. This looks more like a flat here. It's coming up. It's probably going to come to this top. It's probably going to get here. But then it's downside. You have this one. And then we can look for the upside. So keep an eye on Bitcoin, because this pattern is telling us Bitcoin might not go very far. I don't think this is a contracting flat. So I think it's going to come down back. If you're buying it, you just have to buy it with caution. This is also going up, but the same thing. This is a correction mostly, right? This piece here is the correction part. This is the sharp impulse. So you need this to at some point come back down. Even if it goes back there, you need it to come back here, and then you have a perfect buy setup from here going. Are we looking for the upside? Yeah, we're looking for upside here. At least one more up. Right? We're in this structure here and we're looking for one more up. You can literally see it. It's not that difficult. Right? You can see this, and it's telling us that there's a good chance that, that we're in whatever this is. And this one comes here, it come back here, give you this flat. It can go one more up there. And then from that point, we'll see if we come back here or if they break out. Because this is still open as to whether we go with this as the flat or whether we're still in this correction here with this one. Right? So you wouldn't know that until the pattern is completed itself, because both of those are possible when you're constructing a pattern, right? So, or when we are trying to identify the pattern would be the correct thing, right? We're trying to identify what pattern we think is forming here based on what they're doing. And the first pattern you would have is you would say, okay, let this break the top. You notice we didn't break the top. If it broke in the top and then come down, this move should have been really sharp to the downside. It went down really slow. It did break the low. So if you go with a contracting flat here, then you have 1, you have 2, you have 3. And based on patterns that we know, this should go up, back, and break the top. So let this come here, let it come back here, give you this flat, and then we start buying it from here to see how far it goes. If it just stops here, breaking this top and then go back down, that's okay. But if it break the top and continue to go, you'll still be in the trade. Or you will, you will move your stops on the trade and keep it. So wait for the pullback first before you go with that. Okay, I'm not going to do all the crypto unless you tell me which one you want. If you're in a trade like this, you should get out of the trade. This one, you should get out of that trade. There's a lot of time. I'm in the daily. There's a 4-hour what it looks like. Right? If you took this trade, well, you know you have to get out of this trade right here. When you saw that, you get the hell out of the trade. You put a stop above the top and you see what it's doing, right? So it's dropping again. Yeah, there's no problem. There's no reason why it can't drop. If you get a sell setup here, you can take it. So that said, I'm going to leave it there. You'll tell me which other ones you guys want on that one, and then we'll go. So let me see what I missed. US 30, we got that. The best setup, we'll come back to that. No. Okay. All right. Thanks for the Russell 2000. Okay. And gold. You want gold, right? Let's go to gold and see. Okay. We need to see what this is going to do here. Let's see if it consolidates in this range here, and then we'll consider the sell. You don't have any trade on the gold right now because we don't have any clear pattern. We don't have any defined pattern. We have 1, 2, 3, and that's it. This didn't go up to the top. It didn't make a flag here. It's coming back here. If this makes a flag in here, it probably could do this, come back here, go back there, and then we'll make a decision in the trade. So there is no defined pattern that is telling you the direction it's going to go. Wait a little on it. Let it tell us what pattern we have, and then we'll trade it. Right now, there is no trade. You can go into 5 minutes and find a trade, but that is a 5-minute trade. You have to have the skill levels to do that. So right now, there is no trade there. We'll just wait on it. Okay, any other questions? So let's go with the question somebody else. Which is the best trade? Now, there's nothing like a best trade. I think this is what traders need to figure out. Remember this for the rest of your trading career. You do not control the outcome of any trade. You do not know the outcome of any trade. Any trade, any given trade, you do not know the outcome. You do not have control over the outcome. So you're not trading to control the outcome. You do have a forecast of what your expectation is, where you think it's going to go. And that is why you're making a trade. Because any trade you make, right, is because you have a bias that is going to go that way, right? That's the whole thing. You're trading your bias. Now, something had to create that biases in you. You're going to use some method. You heard it somewhere. Somebody told you about it. You saw it on the internet. You saw one guy in a YouTube video who told you the euro is going to fall, so you're selling it. Somebody said we broke the resistance. Somebody said at this price. Somebody said the news is. There is something that creates the bias in you for you to decide that it's going to go down, and then you will want to sell it. Of course, you should have a strategy to sell it and not just go sell it like that. So the first part of what created bias in you is called the analysis. What type of analysis you're going to use. The second part of that is how you're going to take the trade, which is the strategy. And then the third part of that, which is the most important part, because the first two parts, it's okay. People can make mistake in their analysis. People can make mistake in strategy, or your strategy might not work perfect. No strategy work perfect. No analysis is 100% correct. But all of that boils down to the third part, your management of the trade. Once you're in a trade, you become a trader. But are you a professional enough trader to manage that trade correctly? Now, you can be in a winning trade, going very nice for you. You're 30, 40 pips up, and you didn't close the trade. And by the time you realize it, you're 40 pips upside down. Right? I've seen that happen where winning trades suddenly become a losing trade, and you start to panic because you have no idea what to do. If you don't know how the chart is going to behave at any given point in time, you're trading blindly, right? If your analysis cannot tell you of the possibilities of this thing turning or continuing to go, then you're actually just hoping that it goes. Even if it goes, you're hoping that it's going to go. So the type of analysis you use has to give you structural patterns, like where it could turn, how far you think it's going to go. And that is still analysis because it might not do that, right? So should it do that? Great, you're in the trade. Now, when you're in the trade, you have to start managing that trade. Now, which is the best trade? That is, you're assuming you know what the outcome is going to be in any given trade. Now, you can ask me which is the best setup. And we use all the setups as best setups. As long as it's a setup, it's a good setup. Hope for the best outcome. Now, if you're going to ask me which are the setups that I like most, I like a setup where the chart is at an extreme level on the 4-hour or on the daily. So if I'm at the extreme level in the euro on a 4-hour in a pattern that has to go the opposite direction, so if I'm at the extreme top and I think there's a move to the downside, every time I get a sell setup, I'll take it. I love those. Not necessarily it's going to go, but I'll take it. Sometimes it's the third one that actually dropped and give you that big trade. The first two you're managing out for break even. And that's okay. Right? As long as you know that that's okay. So trading, if you're long-term, you can sell it and wait. You don't have any stops. You don't have anything. You know, like the difference between retail traders, what we do, and investors don't use leverage. Warren Buffett does not use leverage when he's buying any stock. He just takes his money. He either borrowed the money from a bank. He go to the bank. I take $5 billion and he buy a stock and he hold it. He has that money borrowed from the bank for a 10-year period, which he's going to pay interest in. So when he buy the stock, he's buying the stock with cash. There is no leverage. No broker is going to take out his trade. Right? So if you're an investor, you don't use leverage as such. You borrow money in your thing, and that's the difference. So you're borrowing from the bank. You're not leveraging from the bank. The difference is what we do is we leverage. We have a small sum of money. We have 1,000 and we go borrow 100,000 from the bank. And the bank is not giving us that as credit with interest. The bank is giving us as leverage, which means your $1,000 is already used against that 100,000. So if that 100,000 is reducing its value based on whatever you buy, right? So if you had borrowed the money, if you'd gone to the bank and borrow 100,000 and said, okay, at the end of the year, I'm going to pay you 10% interest, and you take that 100,000 and you go and you buy euro, it doesn't matter where euro go. The bank is not going to close your trade, right? You borrow it. You're going to pay the interest at the end of the year. So the bank is not going to close your trade. Euro can go up and down for the rest of its life until you decide, okay, now it's up, I'm going to close it, right? But because you're leveraging means you're using your capital to cover the variation of the loss or the profit. So if the loss get too close to your 1,000, it's gone. You follow, right? So that is the difference to understand how what trading you do. So your job is to manage your trades really, really carefully so that you take the minimum amount of loss. That's all. And that is what will make you a professional day trader like we do. Make sure your losses are really, 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 really small. I don't care if you take 10 trades today and you close all for break even. That makes you a super trader. Because if one of those have gone, your profit will be up. But if you take 10 trades and you get 6 wins and you get 4 losses and you're upside down because the 4 losses are bigger than the 6 wins, then you're far from being a professional trader. You have no idea what you're doing. You follow what I'm saying? You have to make sure that the losses are very, very small and the wins are bigger. Keep the losses small. That's the key for retail traders to be successful. Right? If you do that, you're going to be good. And don't focus on which is the best trade because you're trying to guess the outcome of any given trade. And that's a problem because you don't know the outcome. You can have a thing like this one. I think this is a very good trade. Now, is it going to go or is it not going to go? Let's go back. Remember, we took it on the 15. This pullback by itself is not a problem. It did make 1, 2, 3, but that pullback is not a problem. Let's pull it like this. Remember, the downside in this is that this pullback was to the top. But because we're at the very top, I like the trade. So here's what I would do with this trade. It dropped and it pulled back. See that pullback? It dropped and it pulled back. And I'm thinking, well, this is not very good. But let's say I'm still in this trade. All I'm going to do is I'm going to track this here now. I don't want this to happen. I want it to go. Remember I said that you don't want the consolidation, you want the drop. So what you're going to do is if this pulls back to this point, close the trade. Don't second guess it. Don't think twice. Don't think it's going to drop now. Close the trade. So the only thing you're working on now is how am I going to close this trade? Where and how I'm going to close the trade. So here's the thing. If you're going to buy this to the upside, where would your entry order be? Let's say you think this is 1, 2, 3, and that this is going to go up. Where would we put an entry order to buy? An entry order to buy would go right here. What does that mean? That if we break that top, we think we're going to get an impulse like this, right? If we break through this top here, we're going to get an impulse to the upside. So this is where you would want to buy it. Now you're in a sell. Where do you think you need to get rid of that sell for a buy if it's going to go? Exactly. You should take your stop now and put it exactly here, because if you reverse this, the likelihood is going to go. So the stop for that trade will move from this point to this point. But you're trying to make sure you don't let it go there. If it goes, it goes. Nothing you can do. You don't have control. But if it starts to consolidate here, then you close that trade. If it pulls back to this point, you close that trade. Let's go to the pound now. See this one here, it's going back up. Once it goes back to that top, you take this off. The idea is this has to drop. You take it off because whatever it's doing there, it's not doing what you thought it would do. Right? Like there's so much details that we teach our traders in the room that I'm not giving you all of that on YouTube. Remember I said I'm not making trade calls here. And I'm not teaching you. I'm just showing you how we trade. And when it comes to trade management, we have a series of rules for every given strategy you're going to use. Like if we're trading a 1-minute strategy, we have rules for that one. If you're trading a 15-minute strategy, you have rules for that. If you're trading a 1-hour strategy, you have rules. Whatever strategy you're trading, a breakout strategy, you're taking it from a higher point, it doesn't matter what the strategy. You have rules of how you're going to manage that trade. You're doing it in the 15, you manage it in the 15. But there's never a reason to panic. And I'm going to tell you this whether you like it or not. There is a 90% chance you'll get out of this trade for break even. There's a 90% chance you get out of that trade for positive if you understand how it works in terms of wave analysis. Any given trade you take in gives you a 90% chance to come out of that trade for break even if you understand what you're doing. It means there's a very rare chance this thing is just going to tag you and take off like a rocket. Sometimes it happens, but that's very rare. Most times, if you understand that the chart is not going your way, you would figure out that, you know what, I need to get out of this and wait for a better setup. Or wait for another setup. And then take the other setup. See? So we do this every day in the group. Live. 5-6 times a day. There was a session before I come in. There's a session when I leave. And there's going to be a session after the New York sessions that these guys are trading without me. Once you get in there, you can join them and you can see. And traders will tell you how to manage those trades. They will help you until you get as good as they are, and then you will help someone else. See? So it's not about you clicking a trade. It's about how do you manage your trade. Right? That is what makes you a professional. Getting in a trade, anybody can get in a trade. And winning a trade, anybody can win trade. People make money in Bitcoin simple because when Bitcoin was 100, they bought it and they forget about it. And then it went to 20,000. They were like, wait a second, I think I had some Bitcoin lying around somewhere, right? Not necessarily that person's a trader. You can look at that person more as an investor. And as an investor, you don't need to specifically have any specific knowledge. You can just pick anything you like and hold it for a long period of time. As an investor, if you think of everything making a cycle every 5 years, and I mean a full cycle every 5 years up and down, if you hold a stock for 5 years, the likelihood is you're going to get back your money. That is if you buy it at a better spot, right? You don't want to buy it at the very top or sell it at the very bottom. But still, there's a likelihood of you getting back your money in 5 years or 10 years. So in big investors, they're looking at the market that way. Well, if I don't make profit right now, wait for 5 years and get back my money or make some profit. If it stays for 15 years and you don't make money, well, then you may want to dump it at a very good price and then invest it somewhere else. We need to make money in the next 2 hours. We need to make sure we make money in the next couple hours. That's all. You're here for a couple hours to make money. So if this trade doesn't go, once it pulls back, close it. Right? It pulls back to break even, take it off. And the chances are you're going to get break even. It might even become a buy setup eventually. We'll see that this afternoon. So if you're in that trade, this is your thing for managing that trade. It pulls back here, close the trade. That's it. Don't second guess it. Don't think it's going to drop. Don't believe it's going to drop. Don't say, okay, well, now it's going my way. If it drops, it drops. The criteria for the trade that you took is no longer valid. Now, what would be a trade for me is, okay, if we're going to sell it still, I want to see this drop here and I want to see it consolidate here. And if it consolidates here, we'll consider one more. And then we'll see where it goes from there. So this consolidation will take about 4 or 5 hours. We'll come back in the New York session, and should it consolidate there, we'll consider reselling it. Now, if it goes and break the top, once it break the top, we'll look for a sell setup. I don't think it's going to take off and break the top immediately. That's rare. So we'll see what it does when we come back this afternoon. Okay? Trade with care. Any other questions? Anything else, anyone? No. So wait, you know what to do, right? So wait, don't panic, though. You have a stop. That's your limit. That's how much you're going to lose. Don't panic. This chart doesn't, they don't take off like, even this up move, right? Look at this up move. See, you see that pullback? You see this is a deeper pullback. You would think this one is going to take off and go like a rocket, right? But look what happened. It pulled back there, it pulled back here. It stayed here for so long that if you were in a sell, you would probably get out of trade pretty quick. The same thing here. This could stay here for a while. It's not going to take off. The chart doesn't, the idea that the chart is going crazy is not true. Traders tend to get scared when they get upside down. But if you understand the chart, there's no, it's not taking off like a rocket and go away. Those things don't happen. Rarely it happened, and it happened in a news event when they specifically use that moment to drive it one direction or the other. Most times you have a lot of time to make decisions on this thing and cut your losses when you start to see what it's doing. Right? We can sit here and watch that happen now. That's how easy it is. Stick around. We have 2 more days for you guys to learn something. I'll see all of you. Take care. Trade with care. Thanks for coming. See you this afternoon. It's coming back. When it's come back, close it. Don't keep it because it didn't go the way we want it to go. And if it's pulling back into this impulse this deep, it means that this might be a consolidation for upside. Okay, the only way, if you were waiting for it to come together and instead of while you're waiting, it does that, well, okay, great, put it to break even and stay with it. But that is unlikely going to happen too. It's not going to, the drop should have happened during the news. So if it was going to drop through this really fast, the news should have done that. And if it didn't happen in the news, then what is the chances it's going to happen now? No, it's not going to happen now. It would probably going to come back here and then go back there and then come back here and go back there. And if it stays here, well, then we'll consider we want to sell that. See, if you think it's going to drop, fall through the bottom and you're going to miss out on it, then here's what you can do. Close that and put an entry here and see whether it falls through the bottom. You might think when it comes back here, this is your thought process. Oh, well, now it's going my way. Why should I close it? Look how amazing it's going now. If I close it, it's going to drop. That fear that if you close this trade for positive now, it's going to drop totally is also not true. But if you think that is going to be true, then close it when it comes here, but put an entry order under the low and see if it's going to drop through the bottom. If it does drop through the bottom like this, the only thing you lost is the difference between this. And if it just comes here and then go back up, you would be happy you didn't do that because now you have headache. Right now your head is, oh my God, I hope it comes back here. I would take it out this time and I wouldn't wait again. Right? You become very religious. You become a believer. And if it comes here and you think this one is dropping and you don't close it, you end up doing this. And now you're like, oh my God, I wish I'd closed it. I had so much chance to close it, I didn't close it. Understand how the chart moves and what you're expecting it to do. And if it doesn't do that, okay, goodbye. Let's wait for another setup. You remember before it pulled back, I said, this thing has to go, 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 go. You don't want it to consolidate. And I said to my traders, if it starts consolidating, get rid of it. So I'm not only telling you that now, go back and watch the webinar when we put the entry order in what we wanted it to do. And if it's not doing that, what you do? Close the trade. You're going to get break even very soon. See that? Take care, everybody. I'll leave you with that thought. Take care. See you this afternoon. Thanks for coming.
Thanks, Olim.
Welcome.